Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for staying in the room and not leaving. As you understood from that's the last topic, I guess, of last presentation, at least of the day. So I won't be anymore speaking about AML and risks and regulatory. I will speak about the topic that I know most. It's communication. And just a few insights I wanted to share, how to be relevant, how to stay relevant for the banking industry. It's not a secret for us that banking is not the topic that people are mostly interested in. This is not the first thing that people are checking before they brush their teeth in the morning. And that's another challenge, how to stay relevant against the millennials and against the new generation that is coming. So how to survive for the banks and fintechs in the social media bubble? How to cope the new reality? And I guess a few things to understand the landscape is that today traditional media that we used to call is not a monopolist of the news. So the media as we used to know, the radios, the newspapers, they are not holding the monopoly of the news. And the landscape has changed since probably several years. And these are the examples that you see on the screen. These are the top media sources today. The tweets of Mr. Donald Trump are immediately creating the world's headlines in the morning. Then some politicians and opposition of some neighboring countries of ours are using mostly their social media channels to broadcast the news and to share the views and to engage the society. Looking at Lithuania, nevertheless, we know that, taking example of Mr. Andrius Tapinas, he was not only the guy who has gathered 40,000 people within a week's time to support Belarusia, but also during the COVID crisis. As you remember, he and the team has gathered almost 3 million euros in, I guess, 2 weeks' time to support our medical staff with the masks. So it's amazing, for such a small society and such a small country as Lithuania, what an impact today's influencers and social media is making, and what a shift it has done in the way that we have communicated, not only as a persons but also as a companies. So what is happening now, what is recently happened is that, for instance, YouTube has hired tons of so-called fact checkers. This was only the case, I remember 3 or 4 years ago, main portals in the Baltics have been fighting the fake news and have been hiring fact checkers, and this is same things are happening on the social media. And same rules as in the traditional media apply. Also, it's a booming era of influencers, the Patreon financing, podcasts. I don't know if you have heard, but recently, probably the most known world's podcast, Joe Rogan, has signed a deal with Spotify with over 100 million USD value. Meaning that from September, Joe Rogan can only be listened via Spotify channel. And again, trolls and elves. Trolls, we know who are them. Those are anonymous commentators on the media, and elves are the ones that are basically fighting the trolls and fighting the fake news. So this is reality that we live today, and that's amazing that it's so-called alone together. Living in the social media is like a feeling that you are, although you might be an introvert, but you are living very social life. At the same time, let's not be fooled that sometimes we are living in our own social media bubble, so to say. And then sometimes it happens that after election happens, you see some totally different landscape on the result that country has voted, because your social media bubble was probably speaking totally in a different way. So all of us are kind of living in this isolated bubbles, and sometimes we should be very cautious not to be fooled that this our information bubble does not necessarily represent the bubble of the society. And just a few facts from the Baltics, as you can see, what are the biggest social media channels. Facebook is definitely still the queen and the king. It has almost as much amount of active users as YouTube, and LinkedIn is definitely evolving. Please pay attention. Use LinkedIn for your company's profile as much as possible, because this is especially for the B2B communication. That's a top channel again for building your brand as an employer branding platform that really works well, and it's, as you see from numbers, quite rapidly evolving in the Baltics. And definitely Instagram, which is mainly the platform for the youth. And if sometimes we say that, is it too big, or is this influencer marketing important or not? Just a few facts, a few numbers, that some of the, let's say, Instagram influencers in Lithuania are already as big as some of the portals and so-called traditional media. So via influencing your brand via the influencers, of course, in a very careful manner and in a very selected manner, might give you a reach, as big reach as within the so-called regular media. At the same time, we should be very cautious, and you see, probably you saw a few of those examples. I just put a few on the slide. One of them was one of the most Lithuania's famous DJ, very homophobic post on the Facebook. Another one is our famous politician once posted pretty unacceptable post, and both of them have exploded in the media basically next day and damaged the personal brands of these people. So we have, not only as a company but also as an individuals, be very cautious and careful what we say, because it has all of these things are having coincidences. And when we speak about trolls, we sometimes think that these are sort of anonymous hackers somewhere in the internet, but they are very close to us, and they are closer than we expect. For example, this guy Vitaly, he just appeared to be a SEB employee and announced that on the internet, and we probably might have not even seen this post, because some of the people started to send us mails and asking, is this guy really working for your company, because he made some controversial posts on his media, and it appeared to be that this guy never even applied to SEB, but there is a conversation in the social media that he is basically one of us, as you can see. So also you have to be very, very careful about these people. Most of the time I try to basically explain what is happening, and hopefully you will carry some trends out. But I wanted also to show a few examples what we have done. I'm not saying that is absolute true, or this is the way to go, but this has been the path that we have chosen as a bank, as a traditional so-called bank in SEB Lithuania. So when we have launched in 2013, basically we have clearly determined to ourselves what do we do there. So we do financial literacy tips, news and offers, relevant information, seasonal information, meaning that, for instance, when people are filling in their tax reports, we are helping them, but mainly we are there for customer support and issue resolution. This is the main purpose why we are on the social media, and today we are getting closer to 50,000 active followers. And the team, that is so-called SEB social media team, it consists of contact center dedicated people that are trained by marketing and communication. We have launched a robot chat last year, and our robots are getting smarter and smarter every day. Sometimes you are not even aware that you are chatting with a robot, but being very transparent, we are telling that you are talking currently with a machine. Then it's definitely marketing and communication and so-called crisis management group for very rare cases that we are receiving some comments or some criticism. Most of the cases, customers are complaining in a rightful manner. And that's becoming one of the main communication channels now for the bank. As you can see, I just got a few numbers from 2018. Basically, the number of messages that we have been contacting people on Facebook has tripled. So I think this year we will be somewhere on 12,000 answers per year, basically 1,000 per month. And we have this internal rule of answering during one day. Within the working day, we are resolving the issue over the phone, and then after that commenting that on our wall. And definitely the public comments and tags are top priority. And as you can see, few screenshots, public claiming is now a new normal. We get it almost every day. So is public appreciation. As you can see, people, if the conflicts are resolved or if claims are being answered, people are really appreciating and sending their notifications not only to the bank, but as you can see, in some of the cases to the people personally that have helped and that have resolved their issues. And of course, sometimes, as you can see, we are not able to change the perception, and that's fine. But in most of the cases, it pays off, and people are really giving positive feedback, and sometimes even reviewing and changing the value of our page. And we had another small challenge: how to be relevant for a millennial for the bank. Imagine that. Why should millennial follow bank or financial institution? So we had this dilemma, and we have entered to this experiment 2 years ago. And again, we have clearly answered to ourselves why we should be there, what we should do, and if not, our main task was to build a financial literacy platform and to build a community of millennials. And the content is purely financial literacy. Nothing but financial literacy. And we said that there are no products there, no product push, no customer service. And at the same time, we should be very consistent with our brand. It should not be controversial, and it should not shock our older society or other customers. And what we have learned on the way that we spoke a bit about influencers. We have really carefully selected influencers to whom we are working with. Anders told today about corporate sustainability, and among our influencers, we have one very young 16-year-old lady who is living the values of sustainability, who is living this zero trash philosophy and zero waste philosophy and minimalistic philosophy of life. And Rasa, who was also one of our moderators, she was very close to millennials, and we have always strived that it's not the banker that is talking to the millennials, but it's the regular people. It's one of them. So in a nutshell, content has to be very relevant. We were talking about tips how to save the money for your transport, how to save the money for your food, how to prepare the lunchbox. What does that mean, creating your own lunchbox in a year's time? How much it costs for you to have 2 cups of coffee at Coffee in the morning? How much is that? Does that end up in the end of the year? And try to be relevant, try to be simple, try to talk their own language. And it's not a bragging session here, but we received the award 2019 that was called the launch of our Instagram platform was called the Image Campaign of the Year. And summarizing my short speech today is just a few tips for you to carry and to bring. First is, as you saw in those screenshots before, social media buzz, you cannot ignore it. You should be very aware, and we are basically 1 minute away from the media attention. Avoid discussing competitors and fight trolls. Believe me, fighting trolls is not a good idea. Also, speak like human, always be kind, and if you are tagged or if your employees are tagged, it would be very wise to answer immediately and to take measures. Very important note from our experience is we have never erased any comment or anything that was negative about the bank. We tried to resolve it. Of course, unless it was against our communication policy or rules or it was abusing. And as there is no rule book, you know, for how to stay relevant in the social media, my main advice is try to be authentic, try to be empathetic, and try to speak with the customers. Every case is different, and try to be human as possible and as empathetic as possible. There are no silver bullets answering the claims. Every case is different. But deal with this with all seriousness, and definitely this will change the way we communicate. That's it. That's all I wanted to share with you today, and thank you for your attention.